time for This Week in Clarksville. And now, here's your host, Stephanie Miller.
Welcome to This Week in Clarksville on this Thursday, September 15th. I'm your host, Stephanie Miller. Coming up, we learn what it was like inside of a classroom of a South Guthrie landmark that celebrated 100 years. We hear from a former student who was at last Saturday's celebration of the Warfield School, a school that was part of the Rosenwald Fund initiative. And then this month, September, is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Knowing the signs and where to get resources could be life-saving. We connect with our local Crisis 211 Center to learn about their hotline and the support that they offer 24/7. And we lighten it up a little bit as we celebrate with our local Clarksville Dance Club as they are getting ready to hit their 17-year anniversary. My husband and I recently joined in on a dance class where we learned the bachata. I'll introduce you to one of the instructors and share with you too how you can learn the bachata, salsa, ballroom, and many other dances. And then to wrap up our show today, we're going to head into the Customs House Museum and Cultural Center to learn about their newest exhibit. I look forward to sharing with you what makes this particular collection so special. And then we will also hear what's happening at area schools and sports with our Sports Minute from sports reporter Brady McAtamney. But first, let's check in with reporter Sherry Reeves on what's making the wrap in this week's edition of Main Street Clarksville.
In this week's edition, we feature a week of celebration and a week of mourning and remembrance. We have pictures from the annual 911 ceremony that honors lives lost 21 years ago this month in the terrorist attack on our nation. It was a scary few moments last Saturday when a semi-tractor trailer came barreling down Wilma Rudolph Boulevard as police gave chase to the driver through Clarksville and on up into Kentucky, damaging vehicles along the way. We'll provide details of the driver and the charges he is facing. Sadly, it was a Fort Campbell soldier that drowned this week in the Red River while swimming. It's the third drowning in the river in recent months. Specialist Jawbery McCraw, assigned to the 101st Airborne Division Air Assault, died near Billy Dunlop Park. We'll also provide coverage with photos of last weekend's annual Riverfest celebration along the Cumberland River. It made its first return to Clarksville following the pandemic. And that's a wrap. I'm Sherry Reeves, Main Street, Clarksville.
Thank you, Sherry. When we come back, we will be in South Guthrie, where we will learn the significance of the now South Guthrie Community Center and its recent 100-year celebration. Stay with us.
Guess what? The real estate market is changing, creating opportunities for homebuyers.
We still have a housing shortage. With interest rates rising, homes aren't selling as quickly, which is allowing inventory to grow.
So if you've been out there before or struggled to find a home that meets your needs, it's time to breathe a welcome sigh of relief.
In today's market, you'll have more options and less competition. Data shows that multiple offer situations are still happening, they're just not as intense as they have been in the past years.
So if you're still looking to make a move, it might be time to pick your home search back up today.
As a busy mom juggling family, errands, and everything life throws at me, I try my best to be environmentally conscious. So of course, I buy flushable wipes thinking I'm doing the right thing. But it turns out flushable wipes aren't actually flushable. I found out the hard way when flushable wipes caused a clog and flooded my house with sewage. It ended up costing me thousands of dollars in damage and a big headache with the insurance company. It's safe to say our family will never flush a flushable wipe again, and instead put them where they belong, in the trash.
Just to be able to say, you know, I was a part of this. a part of history and still be able to remember it. That's one of the things that I can still remember. A lot of times you might not remember your 7th, 8th grade, but I do remember this school and the foundation that it laid for me. So.
Leanne Medley spent her first grade year here at the Warfield School in 1967. 45 years after this historic building was built, and that was in 1922.
If you have a good foundation laid, you'll do incredible things.
The Warfield School is one of just more than 5,000 schools built as part of the Rosenwald Fund initiative. Between 1912 and 1932, these schools were built to provide a foundation and place for Black students to advance their education. Only 10 to 12% are left.
The community had a stake, the government had a stake, it was really a collaboration. And so one thing that Frank Lott said during his talk was that the Rosenwald schools really did change the face of public education and equal access. Because before everything was separate but equal, but it was not equal. And so this, while it wasn't the same standard and it wasn't enough, at least it did put a place in the community for everyone to have access to education.
Now known as the South Guthrie Community Center, it's what this building was and will always represent that collaborators Katie Nettie and Elizabeth Quinton say brought dozens out to reconnect, to reminisce, and to share family stories.
Exactly. All the community members are just so excited to get to see each other again and to get to see old classmates and
tell their stories about teachers
and their grades.
Yes. And we were able to get a hold of some report cards that not only former students had, but their parents went here as well. And so we were able to look at original documents from 1930s, and there's little comments on there about attitude and citizenship and, how well you pay attention.
And in Leanne's case, personal ones.
You never wanted Miss Edwards to tell your parents that you did anything bad in class. So that was one of the things that she didn't have to say a lot, but she expected a lot more of you. So you always wanted to please Miss Edwards. So that was one of the fond memories that I always remember.
At Miss Lucille's, we go for apple pie. A place that feels like a home away from home. A comfortable place to bring your family from out of town. It's a place where great conversations are had. It's a place where you can shop 200 small businesses in one location. It's a place for you to shop for gifts for any occasion or just to treat yourself. Come on down to Miss Lucille's. You'll be glad you did.
The West Group at Southwest Funding has a combined 29 plus years of experience in the local mortgage market. It's our top priority to make sure the client is well informed and has a transparent loan process. Our focus is to make your journey to home ownership as seamless as possible. Once you close with the West Group, you are family for life. To become part of the happy West Group family of clients, call 931-266-0013 or visit us at thewestgroupswf.com.
Okay, what was our favorite part of the chapter?
Well, first, has anyone seen Chris?
She was just in the bathroom. Guys, it's rooms for less.
So what about the chair?
Yeah, rooms for less. I love it too. Love it. I just got it. It's amazing. All right, book club at Rooms for Less next week.
Welcome back to This Week in Clarksville. I'm your host, Stephanie Miller. I'm with Terry Williams. She's with the Crisis 211 Center. First off, Terry, thank you for giving me your time.
Oh, thanks for asking.
You're very welcome. So we are together right now at a particular event that you're hosting, and it's a walk for those who have lost someone to suicide.
Love Remembered.
Love Remembered Walk. Why are events like this or anything like this important for those who have lost someone?
Because when you lose someone to suicide, no one likes to talk about it. They really want to hide it because people want to know, the weirdest thing about when someone commits suicide, people want to know how they done it, which is the oddest thing to ask somebody. And I think that people need to share their stories, and because a lot of times it's hidden pain. You know, grief is a personal journey. But when someone chooses to take that life, that's a whole different ballgame, because you're going to blame yourself, the guilt. What could I have done? You know, what should I have done different? Why didn't I see that? Why wasn't I there when he needed me? So you begin to doubt yourself, and what they do is they put their skeletons in your closet, and then they stay there forever. Mine's been 30 years, and I still do this job for that reason, because if I can just help one person change their mind, then it's been a good run.
For those who are seeing this and they've lost someone to suicide and they're like, I need to talk to someone. There's no one I feel around me that understands. Can they call the crisis 211?
They can call our 931-648-1000 or 211. The 1000 is our crisis line. Okay. They can call us and talk about anything, and we actually will answer the phone. There's no menu.
Really?
A real person will answer the phone. And we will stay on the phone as long as it takes for them. And sometimes you just need to tell them that you feel guilty, that you need to share that you feel guilty. And I think basically is that they want you to make them feel better because they still wish they could have done something. Because you'll go through, you know, your whole scenario. You know, I just saw him the other day. Why didn't I say something to him? You know, oh my goodness, I was going to go by there. I was going to text him, but why didn't I do that? And then you start building up all the things you would have, could have done, and you blame yourself for it.
When I first walked up, I overheard you mentioning that you wrote a letter.
Yes.
Does that help, or what can people do? What steps can they take to maybe help with their grief?
For me, it was just, I was angry, you know, 7 stages of grief, and I was angry, and the best thing I could do, I felt, was I wrote it down like I was writing him a letter. And then I took it and I set it on fire. And hopefully he got it where he was at. But yeah, you know, that's one way to do it with your grief. I think journaling is a good thing, to keep a journal when you're going through any type of grief, whether it's suicide or a loss of anyone. I think it's a good time because you can look back and see how far you came. Some people get stuck and they never get through it. They never accept it, and they keep blaming themselves. And sometimes in turn they become suicidal. Yeah, sometimes it can be a vicious circle.
And with that circle, no matter what side you're on, you can call the Crisis 211 Center for that help, to reach out to someone if you have a question, if you're having those thoughts,
right,
to maybe talk through those thoughts
yes,
with someone?
24/7, 360, we never close. And our phone is always open for you to call anytime about anything that you want. The Love Remembered Walk, today is World Suicide Day, and we're hoping that we can do this again next year. We've been trying to find something that suits us. We are United Way funding. Our funding's been down for the last 4 or 5 years, so we really didn't do this for that. We did it just so that we could get people in here to talk about what they're doing and share that information, because you really can't, unless somebody's lost someone to suicide, it's hard to understand it. And so here they all can share their stories with each other. And as you say, you know, teared up. You know, losing her son is hard. And so I think losing someone to suicide is one of those things that you just have a tendency to blame yourself.
And her husband, they were saying that they released a balloon on the
Yes.
1-year anniversary of when that happened.
Right. They said they forgive him. And that's the hardest thing, because once you get mad at him, you really are angry. Because why? Why, you know? Why did you do that? And you know, maybe it was the marriage thing, but I think it was probably, usually suicide's more than just one thing. It's an abundance of things that's piled up on them, and then they have tunnel vision and they just don't want to do it anymore. They can't seem to dig themselves out of the hole that they've gotten into. And no matter how hard they try, and some people just don't want to do it anymore. One guy said, I just don't want to do it anymore. He said, I'm tired. He said, you know, and we talked for a while, and I checked the paper. As far as I know, he didn't do it. But nowadays, there's so many other ways that people are doing it with drugs and whatever. But even women, used to women wouldn't use guns, but now they are. You know, so it's a stats that's going up a lot. And I think the world is a little, people stay on their phones all the time that they really don't see the world anymore. They don't have I have 100 friends on Facebook. How many people would you talk to today?
Right.
Yeah. Who can you call if you're depressed? So we can be that friend for them.
So you have a place to turn if you or someone you know, someone you love, if they're dealing with these thoughts, or you know someone that's lost someone from suicide, you have the Crisis 211 Center to call and to talk to. So always know that you have that. So Love Remembered Walk happening on this day. And like you said, you hope for more in the future.
Right. Hopefully next year, we hope around the same time we're hoping.
Okay. Terry, thank you so
You're
much.
welcome, honey.
I very much appreciate it. Stick with us here on This Week in Clarksville. We'll be right back.
I'm Journey Louie, lead agent with the Journey Louie team at Clarksville.com Realty. Not every client needs the same approach. No matter what you need, my specially curated team and I devise a creative strategy to get you exactly what you want. I don't have to tell you that this market is unpredictable, but the key is to have a local, experienced real estate agent to help you make an informed financial decision.
The West Group at Southwest Funding has a combined 29 plus years of experience in the local mortgage market. It's our top priority to make sure the client is well informed and has a transparent loan process. Our focus is to make your journey to home ownership as seamless as possible. Once you close with the West Group, you are family for life. To become part of the happy West Group family of clients, call 931-266-0013 or visit us at thewestgroupswf.com.
Hey guys, I'm Brady McAtamney and welcome back to This Week in Clarksville. It was a big week for football in the area as several different teams got wins on the football field. First was Northeast getting a big win over Rossview, beating them 34-20. They got a huge performance out of Cam Athey, going for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Clarksville High also got a huge win over Dixon County, scoring nearly 50 points on the Cougars. Montgomery Central was one of the only teams that didn't get a win as they went on the road to Hillwood and took a tough 14-7 loss. Clarksville Academy beat Republic 53-6. That was a huge win. That was a score at halftime, actually. And Northwest beat Whites Creek. West Creek beat Kenwood. So Kenwood, Rossview, Montgomery Central, the only teams in the area to not get a win this week. That includes Austin Peay because they took a home game against Mississippi Valley State, alma mater of Jerry Rice. And they beat them 41-0. If you recall, last week they won 63-0. So that's back-to-back shutouts at Forterra Stadium, outscoring opponents 104-0 in that time span.
As a busy mom juggling family, errands, and everything life throws at me, I try my best to be environmentally conscious. So of course, I buy flushable wipes thinking I'm doing the right thing. But it turns out flushable wipes aren't actually flushable. I found out the hard way when flushable wipes caused a clog and flooded my house with sewage. It ended up costing me thousands of dollars in damage and a big headache with the insurance company. It's safe to say our family will never flush a flushable wipe again, and instead put them where they belong, in the trash.
So, I just heard you talking to Jane about your gorgeous living room.
She was just asking me if it came from
Rooms for less, is that true? I mean, I always thought with the whole less thing.
Not at all. I mean, the whole less thing's actually more. You get more quality, more name brands, more selection.
Oh, but what about the table? I mean, there's no way.
Rooms for less.
Is this rooms for less? What time do you guys close?
Welcome back to This Week in Clarksville. I'm your host, Stephanie Miller. I feel like we have a treat for you today. I am with Patricia Leffler. She is the dance coach for the Clarksville Dance Club.
Yes.
First off, Patricia, thank you for being with me.
Well, thank you for asking me.
You're very welcome. First question, what is the Clarksville Dance Club?
Clarksville Dance Club started 17 years ago. It is, they do ballroom, Latin swing, country, and there were just a couple of folks, in fact about 8 to 10, who really wanted to bring it into Clarksville. So they started the club 17 years ago.
And that's a big celebration, 17 years. And I bet you guys out there did not know you had a Clarksville Dance Club doing some phenomenal dances like this. And I have to say, it's a great way to stay in shape and stay healthy.
Yes, and mentally too, mentally.
100%. So as we're talking, you're going to see some of the dancers or those who participate in Clarksville Dance Club. You'll see some of the dances, some of the moves. That'll be coming up as Patricia and I are talking. First off, let's go ahead and start off with how you got involved with the Clarksville Dance Club, because you were saying you've been with them for 15 years.
Yes, and actually they were an answer to a prayer. When my mom got sick, I moved to Clarksville, and a couple of friends invited me to go dancing at the Beach Haven Winery. And I told them no. My mom overheard and said, "You need to get out. You need to have some fun." And so that night, dancing bare feet, Holly Ferris came up to me and said, "Are you a dance teacher?" And I said, "Yes." So right there, an answer to a prayer. And so that was 15 years ago, which has brought thousands of students through this. And you know, teaching here is my therapy. You know, these kids, they have such a warm place in my heart. I say kids.
I get
They're
what you mean.
67, and once you're my student, you're my kid.
What are you hearing from them as they come through? You said you've had thousands. What
Yes.
are you hearing? What have you heard through the 15 years that you've worked with them?
A lot of it is getting exercise. This is my playground. This is more fun than crossword puzzles, which Dr. Oz did do a study on Alzheimer's and dementia. And second place is crossword puzzles. You're 35% less likely to get dementia if you do crossword puzzles.
I've heard that.
But the impromptu lead and follow, the partner dancing, you're 70% less likely to get dementia. So we came in number one. Not only number one, we spanked the competition, you know. So I kind of had that epiphany like 20 years ago. I'm like, my seniors don't act like the rest of them. And Dr. Oz, you know, confirmed it for me. So yeah, they can keep on a conversation and they're on top of it.
What do you get out of seeing individuals or couples learn the moves, learn the dances? What do you get from that?
Oh my gosh, the aha moment when they get it. And the leaders, the guys are usually the leaders, you know, it's like that confidence that builds in them. However, my favorite thing in the world is hearing stories of how they took that out to the world and the joy that they got out of life. Yes.
You know, a lot of people are going to be like, well, I can't do it. I'm not coordinated enough, or I'm not going to get the steps. What do you want to say to them, those that are watching this, to maybe encourage them to come and try a dance?
Oh goodness, well, we like to say at our studio that we're the cure for the 2 left feet. And it's all about taking the lessons. Guess why I can't play piano? You know, I haven't taken the lesson, you know? So it's kind of like math class. When you come the first time, you learn 2 + 2, and then gradually, you know, then you can go on to trigonometry. However, you know, practice makes permanent. There is no perfect. You know, I still mess up.
I like that, and thank you for sharing that. So one more time, where can they go to get information about the Clarksville Dance Club?
Yes, ClarksvilleDanceClubTN.com. We're also on Facebook, so like us on the page, and I think that's it. And then there's phone numbers on there too if you need to reach out and have any questions.
That sounds great. And what dances are you teaching tonight on this particular Thursday?
Yes, beginner's bachata, which is, if you love Latin music, tons of fun. And then I'm doing a West Coast Swing 2, and then I'm doing a 2-step 3. So,
Very
yeah,
nice.
3 different group classes.
Well, I can't wait to kind of see some of this. And again, Patricia teaches here at the Pinnacle. What time do you ask people to show up?
Come about 10 minutes before class. So tonight's beginner's class is at 6:30. So that way you can meet everybody and, you know, kind of get settled in, calm the nerves, because, you know, everybody has their first time,
That
you
is
know.
true. That is
so
true.
I
Awesome.
promise you will survive it. The guys might have brains oozing out the ears towards the end because it takes a lot of mental energy.
I can imagine.
Yes.
Well, Patricia, thank you for sharing this information with us. Again, hope you've enjoyed seeing some of the dances as Patricia was telling us about it on the video. And stick with us here on This Week in Clarksville. Coming up, we are heading back over to the Customs House Museum and Cultural Center to learn about their new exhibit. We'll be right back.
The West Group at Southwest Funding has a combined 29 plus years of experience in the local mortgage market. It's our top priority to make sure the client is well informed and has a transparent loan process. Our focus is to make your journey to home ownership as seamless as possible. Once you close with the West Group, you are family for life. To become part of the happy West Group family of clients, call 931-266-0013 or visit us at thewestgroupswf.com.
If you're looking to buy a home under $500,000, check out this 3,000 square foot home in Savannah Chase with all brick and an open floor plan. This kitchen features gorgeous granite countertops and stainless steel appliances. And who doesn't love extra storage? I'm Journey Louie with the Journey Louie team at Clarksville.com Realty. If you're interested in your own personal tour of this property, contact me today.
Hey, I'm John, one of the family owners here at the City Forum. Some people think I'm great at the games and attractions here, but I'm not. I'm fantastic. It's your mom. Might want to pick that up. Go low with 18 holes in mini golf. Channel your inner Ricky Bobby on the go-kart track. Play in Clarksville's only 7D motion theater. 10 lanes of family fun bowling. Don't forget about our big birthday party rooms. So come on out to the City Forum and try to beat some of my high scores.
Welcome back to This Week in Clarksville. I'm your host, Stephanie Miller. We're at one of my favorite spots. Once again, we are visiting the Customs House Museum and Cultural Center. I have Executive Director Frank Lott with me. Thank you so much for inviting me to showcase the pictures, the paintings. You have an assortment.
It's a wide variety of media that stretches a span from the early 1980s to the mid-2000s. So about 30 years of documentation of Clarksville's famous places, some that are just scenes of everyday life, some that are scenes of places that no longer exist or views that no longer exist. But what's so phenomenal about this is that it was assembled by one particular local financial institution over that period of time. And it has been now donated in its entirety back to the Customs House Museum for preservation and enjoyment by the public, never seen before by the general public, all in one place at one time.
That's incredible. And as Frank and I are talking, I'm just going to show you some of what you will see because, again, I want you to make a visit down here to the museum to see it for yourself. So how many do you have on the wall?
The total pieces in this collection that were contributed were 64 pieces of original art in a variety of mediums: oil paintings, watercolors, pastels, prints, abstract, landscapes, such a variety that is just really a testament to the creative power of local artists over those years.
And they're beautiful. What was your initial reaction when these pieces were brought to your attention from a bank?
Well, I was just overwhelmed because we thought all of this work would probably filter out, disappear, not be maintained as a body of work. And when the opportunity arose, I was very quick to say, yes, we would love that. And we had it appraised, and we gave the bank a nice letter for documenting the value of this collection. And now we get to honor it and honor the people, the artists, and the donors and contributors who made this happen.
Is this a rare find, would you say?
I would say it is an extremely rare opportunity that we are so fortunate to have this happen.
They're all special pieces that you have here that you'll see on the walls at the museum, but there is one piece in particular that's kind of not maybe necessarily a focal point, but it's set off by itself.
Well, there is one particular piece that is very recent. that we're going to honor in a special way. I'm going to keep that a little bit of a secret. I want people to come and see it, but it was done as a tribute to one of our founding board members who was also an artist represented in this collection. So you'll get the full story when you come here to see this.
Have anything special coming up on the weekend or anything that might be special to the public?
Well, we will have several events throughout September, October time frame. Even looking on towards Christmas, we have our fabulous Noel Night event coming up December 1st.
Love it.
We'll probably do another feature on that
Yes, we will.
by then. And we have our Fifth Saturday events, which are focused on family time to bring family here at for a free admission day, or what we call a Give What You Care To day. Yes. So we have lots of things going on.
So
always.
Again, yes, they do. Lots of things going on right here at the Customs House Museum and Cultural Center. But this particular exhibit opened up this past Monday. You can come in, see it for yourself. Anything else that you would like to share that I didn't ask you?
Well, again, a tribute to a particular institution in this community who was very dedicated to preserving local history and local history through local art.
I love that so much. And again, this is an exhibit you don't want to miss out on. Don't go anywhere unless you're coming here to the museum. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
Give it up. Where'd you get it?
Rooms for less.
Get out! You gotta be kidding me!
Have you ever noticed that the guys' voices get really high when they get excited? I haven't really noticed that before.
Oh yeah, you should see their selections of sofas and recliners. I mean, oh my gosh, I about lost my mind. I should take you there sometime. I mean, there's more stuff that I want to get. I can't believe you got all this from Rooms for Less.
As a busy mom juggling family, errands, and everything life throws at me, I try my best to be environmentally conscious. So of course, I buy flushable wipes thinking I'm doing the right thing. But it turns out flushable wipes aren't actually flushable. I found out the hard way when flushable wipes caused a clog and flooded my house with sewage. It ended up costing me thousands of dollars in damage and a big headache with the insurance company. It's safe to say our family will never flush a flushable wipe again, and instead put them where they belong, in the trash.
Welcome back to This Week in Clarksville. Who's making plans for the weekend? I don't know about you, but I have to plan a couple days in advance, and I'd like to remind you about the Bikers Who Care 41st Annual Leslie W. Watson Toy Run and Benefit Party. This is kicking off tomorrow on Friday. This is a benefit party where proceeds will go back to Camp Rainbow and other charities that Bikers Who Care support. If you would like more information on this Memorial Toy Run, you can go to bikerswhocare.org. Also happening this weekend, the Fallen Brewery is having its first Oktoberfest. And I bet you're wondering, Oktoberfest on September 17th? Say what? Yes, but get this. September 17th is when Oktoberfest officially gets underway in Munich. Also happening this weekend, you can make your way to Fort Defiance on Saturday at 10 a.m. They're having their Severe Day where you can learn about Clarksville's frontier history. Of course, you always have your Customs House Museum and Cultural Center as you learned about the new exhibit that is up earlier in our show. And then remember that you only have a couple more weekends to visit the Clarksville Downtown Market on Saturday that runs from 8 to 12. Well, thanks so much for joining us here for This Week in Clarksville. You can catch our episode by going to our mobile app. You can also head to our Facebook page, Main Street Clarksville, or YouTube. And then we also have this show streaming on our Roku, Amazon, and Apple. I hope you have a wonderful Thursday and a blessed weekend.
watching this week's episode of This Week in Clarksville. We'll see you next time.